Hello, this is the Marcus Allen Frishman show. He's Marcus Allen Frishman, and I'm not.
Yes, that's true, Archie. I am Marcus Allen Frishman, and you're not.
How did your week go? Did the bank come and see you about the house? What's happened? Tell us what's happened.
Oh, the house. We spent 1 hour on the house last time with you having about 3.5 minutes. But to sum up, the long nightmare is over, and I have been compensated. And in the release, there was no release per se. There was some conditions I had to meet, but no release. So I will be filing the lawsuit, which will recover full market value. But that's because they've admitted fault, admitted guilt, and gave me significant funds to expedite. So I'm in my new beach pad.
So when they gave you this money, right?
Yeah.
You told them you would be suing them, et cetera, et cetera. Is that correct?
Not at the exact moment of the transfer, because that person is merely a distant representative of senior staff. But in a formal communication in September, when I changed my status. I said, I am abandoning this home. I'm going to rent it out. I'm moving to a near beach pad. I have a life-changing moment going on that has nothing to do with them, the bank. But I wanted to let them know what I was doing, and I did. And they would have none of it, because my agreement to not pay a mortgage for, in total, 18 years, 4 months, is with them paying the property taxes as well, was that I was at least a full-time resident. And a full-time resident is defined as 6 months or more.
Wouldn't it have been smarter just to stay there for free?
No, well, yes, but that's what I've done for 18 years, 4 months. But you have to change, things change in your life. I want to have a change. I want to do something. I can't avail of the equity in the home because they have stolen it, frozen it. I can't sell the home. But look, they had a servicing error. Federal law has implicated them. The state law has implicated them. They took until 2024, November, to admit their error. To actually admit it, which was, I think, I think it was an error in its revealing by the writer, because they didn't ever explain the admission. When I asked, my God, I'm shocked, because for years they denied their error. Their error was basically that they were holding a loan on my home that was proven, paid in full, satisfied in 2008, 9/9, not sure the exact dates. And that loan was sold to them to continue on. And I was paying it for a while, realizing, my goodness, this isn't my balance. This isn't my loan conditions. And I wrote them, and they never admitted error. But to make a long story short, let me just put it this way. Let's sum it up this way. You can't live in a home with a home loan that you don't pay for 18 years and 4 months unless the bank lets you. And the bank won't let you, but they did, because, and I'm in regular community. When I say regular, it's weekly and monthly communication. It's about 15 hours a week. 15 hours a month has been spent on this issue since it has been, since its inception, since I alerted them of the problem. And I was advised to stop paying the mortgage. So I did. And of course, they started to pay my property taxes. I was paying my property taxes when suddenly they paid it. I go, that's nice. And they kept paying it. So anyway, make a long story short, we did the turnover. I did sign a release a couple of weeks before I received exit funds. Technically, they are called cash for keys, and it was substantially above the normal allocations in that category. The release I signed only was an acknowledgement of receipt of the funds on a certain day, and that I had done certain things to prepare the house. I won't bore you with what those are. You know, there are things I didn't do. You know, you don't take the fixtures. You don't destroy the house. You leave it in proper condition, so forth and so on. And then good old Oscar came by. He's their representative, and the house will be put on the market. It is not sold to anyone. It is in the bank's hands. They used a transaction to take merely my name off it, which they did in January, I forget the date, and I've been in possession of it until last week. I went, by the way, today to get the mail. That's why I'm a little late to coming to the show and promoting it.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to go there and get the mail today. I have to wrap.
And what happened?
Well, I went to get my mail. That's it.
Has the bank been inside?
The walkthrough was with their representative, and that's when they turned over my.
What happened to the BMW 3 Series in the garage?
Donated to Cars for Kids. My motorcycle was transferred to a friend's house because I don't have a parking location where I'm at. Parking is quite a commodity in Los Angeles, and for no money can I have a parking spot. So I think I may have to sell the motorcycle because I enjoy it so much. I'd like to use it, but I can't use it where I put it. So and because I can't bring it to where I'm at due to parking restrictions, there's no place to park it. I've met with the police chief. I've met with management. So I will.
So the house is empty. The house is vacant. It's empty.
Oh, I had a service come and dispose of everything, and then I had housekeeping come, my old housekeeper, and clean it. And the house was immaculate. It was cleaner.
And what did the bank say when they took it?
Well, it's really, when you say the bank, it's a servicer. It's not really the bank, and it's a representative.
Well, it's the bank's agent. It's the bank's agent.
It's a broker. It's a special category of broker that has an acronym. He only represents banks. He's very nice. Oscar told me it was a pleasure doing business with me. A pleasure because he has to deal with very more traditional situations where people don't want to leave their home. They're in financial crisis. He gave me some examples. He said there was a woman in a multi-million-dollar home up the street that when he went to do essentially the same thing with her, the initial contact that was, she came out with her camera and screamed rape and called the police. Actually, she called the police, and they showed up and took a report, and the whole thing was, poo-pooed later. But he said I was just a pleasure to deal with, which of course I was. Because
what do you basically, let me, if I can understand this right, what you're saying is this house, essentially you have no equity in it because you bought it, but you never paid the payments for long. You only paid.
I did for several years, but I had an interest-only loan. So even when I paid the payments, it was pure interest. I did that because I was high-income W-2 employee.
Yeah, I understand.
Tax deduction.
So basically, you should be very happy if you just walk away with nothing and say, "Oh, that's okay. Next."
Let me just phrase it this way: about a decade ago.
But what you're saying is the bank will actually pay you that if that house hypothetically is worth $3 million, regardless of the mortgage you haven't paid off or what you have paid off or anything like that, you will walk away with $3 million.
Yes,
I understand.
Even if I acknowledged that the loan was legitimate and I owed every penny they claimed, because of the uniqueness of the Kamala Harris California law that was updated in 2019 that says if there's a servicing error, and I won't define that here, it's a number of things that I've fit 4 of them. You only need 1 of them. And it's a list, very small, simple, few-page law. If you have a true servicing error, and they conduct an actual foreclosure, whether they sell it to a third party or they use what's called the foreclosure process to simply remove your name, keep it in the bank's name, and then hire a broker and sell it on the open market later, or whatever they do with it. In either category, if it occurs, you can take action in state court. Federal law backs this, by the way, mimics it, but it's easier to take action in state court when you can. You take the action in state court, and the parameters are that you have to be a non-payer of your mortgage. You have to have had them allege you owed it. And they had to commit at least one of the servicing errors listed. Of course, my servicing error is pretty major. There's several, but the most major one is they admitted servicing a loan that was paid in full. And they only admitted that in 2024, November. Hence, you go into this transaction in a court. It's a trial. You have a right to a judge or a jury or a commissioner. And although that will never happen because of the nature of the law, if they're found in violation, if they're found subject to the law, I get full market value. I don't get less or more. There's no damages. It's market value or nothing. And then if I get market value, the court must bestow sanctions on them for each of the violations that have occurred during the course of the servicing. Now, I have so many violations, they're too numerous to list. It would just go on forever. Plus, I don't get the sanction money, the state does. So we have 12 sanctions that we would list in this court action. That's the count. I think it's 12. I'm happy to list one, but we want to make a doubly strong case to show how obnoxiously messed up they are. And what will happen is their own attorney will advise them to cut me a check in full market value. There'll be no, Mr. Frishman, will you take 80%? In the hallway of that courtroom or sooner, they will offer me full market value to avoid sanctions and to avoid, ready for this, punitive damages. Punitive damages are unlikely, they're legally allowed to be bestowed upon me. They are realistically unlikely because you kind of need to have people feel sorry for you. I lose that. I lose the feel sorry for you because it's 18 years I haven't paid the mortgage, but I wanted to. I had the ability to. I offered to in writing. In fact, I offered to pay the full loan in full. In full. They denied that because that's negotiating in violation of federal law. They can't reduce your loan amount. When I say they can't reduce your loan amount, when you don't pay your mortgage, there's something called arrears, unpaid balances. Then they add that to your mortgage. That's how we get to a massive number, but the number's fake. And the federal law says they can't reduce it. They can't negotiate it down because I had offered to pay the first mortgage in full and almost half of the arrears at one point. It was half, and then that offer remained, but then it was less than half, and then the full first mortgage. But they couldn't. Federal law wouldn't allow them to. I was hoping they'd accept it. I wouldn't violate federal law if they did. They would, but they never could. Rightly so, because you can't negotiate an arbitrary, capricious reduction on a loan like I had because it's a U.S. bank loan. They have what do you call it? Stockholders. That there's federal law that prohibits that kind of thing, so favors don't happen. But to let me live in the house without paying was their solution, and the agreement was, even though I lived in the Philippines 4 months a year for 19 or 20 years without interruption, as long as I was on the house for 6 months and 1 day as my primary residence, and it was always my primary residence, I kept the agreement. But it was time to go. I wanted to leave, and I couldn't sell it. It's encumbered. I can't sell it. And how can I sell it? Look, the truth is they can't foreclose on it. You can't foreclose on a loan that doesn't exist and has been paid in full. So the whole thing is ridiculous. So tell me this.
We got a super chat first. Super chat. Black Cat 997 $2. The Marcus Allen Frishman School of Finance. The School of Complete BS.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. I'll tell you that.
So tell me this. What are you going to do if they give you, say $3 million?
They gave me significant funds already. And the amount that I saved in not paying the mortgage that they wouldn't let me pay was hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars if you look over the arrears and the cost of the mortgage over the years, even though it was interest only. The market value would just be icing on the cake. But as you said, and as my attorney, both attorneys I've had over time, have said to me, you won this battle essentially already. And I said, not really. My feeling is not really, because while it was not truly a benefit, Archie, to not pay your mortgage all this time. because
So what
had
are you
I
going to
not,
do with the money? If they give you the $3 million, what are you going to
whatever
do with
the,
it?
well, yeah, it's not something I've thought of. I would just, they owe me the money, and the
Will you
action
buy a
I will.
property? Will you buy another property?
Oh no, I don't think I'll ever buy a property again. I think the way to go for me personally is to continue to rent, and I'm very contented where I'm at. I'd like to make a purchase of a rental. I say purchase. I'd like to find a rental property in Florida, southern Florida, and I already have a place in the Philippines. I sold one of them recently. We've sold. When I say we, it belonged to my client and I. He gave it to me. He's never used it or been there. We sold it and split the proceeds. And then my personal residence in the Philippines still is intact with no one in it any longer.
I see.
So yeah, so I'm contented because I left that property in October. I wanted to leave in January, but it takes time to move and time to make the arrangements. But by October, I did leave it. I moved everything I needed out of the house. I would have liked to take my furniture. I had very upscale, expensive furniture that a lot of it I couldn't bring where I'm at because it's, just too many rooms. I had a 12-room, 4-bedroom, 3-bath home, and I went into a 5-room apartment. So the fact is, I wanted to send my expensive, I had Kendall and Henderson and Hancock and Moore and Baker and all these expensive furniture products. I wanted to send it to a consignment house. I'm in Los Angeles. There's lots of big consignment houses. The 3 nearby all have 10,000 plus square feet. Couldn't queue me in for a delivery of my furniture until May or June, depending upon which one. So I had to trash the furniture. There was no time to sell it.
So sad.
Oh, it is sad because my plan was the consignment house, and 2 of the 3 agreed to take the furniture. One did not because it's not their style. It's old traditional stuff. Yeah. And the 2 did, but they have a system at Marcus. We can't take it till one of them said June. The other one said May. Oh my goodness. Can I bring it? You can store it somewhere? I mean, I would be paying for no. My goodness. So I with really 3 weeks left, I gave a few pieces to some employees that are working on staff here where I reside. It's a full service place. So I gave it to a new employee that moved in without any furniture. He gets a residence. So he took some things. A couple of other friends took things. And then it all went to trash. I contacted a client of mine that is a mover, and they moved everything out. I mean, they emptied every drawer. I gave up my wardrobe. I mean, I just emptied everything. I can't physically bring all of that stuff in that house into this apartment I am now at. And I'm at a near beach apartment. I'm loving it. I was in the city of Los Angeles in a suburban gated community. A new gated community. That home was built to order. And now I'm in a new residential community outside of Los Angeles. I'm not in LA City or LA County any longer, which is a big relief too, if you know what it's like to live there. I live in a rural community now near a beach. And by the way, I haven't actually visited the beach yet. It's just starting to get warm. It's hit 80 and 90 degrees in Los Angeles this week. And I'm just wrapping up things, settling in. And I have my bicycle ready, my bike ready to e-bike to the beach very soon.
Yes, that sounds fantastic.
It is fantastic.
I've got to say to you, the thing about it is that I am very impressed with is that are you going to sue them for damages for the furniture that you had to dispose of, or
no? That law doesn't allow for that. It only allows full market value if there was a servicing error and a foreclosure took place. That's it. And the foreclosure was by choice. I allowed them to do the foreclosure. There was an active foreclosure sale date always since 2009. Their procedures required that. And then, of course, I would have to send a letter every month telling them that their active foreclosure, their active public foreclosure date is a violation of the Homeowner Bill of Rights of California and the federal RESPA laws, the federal RESPA rules.
Yeah.
Can't forget the acronym. And then they would send me back a letter saying they don't admit error. However, it's moot because they've either canceled or moved the sale date. And that went on for 19 years. If I don't send the letter, I don't get to recover. I have to send the letter allowing them to cancel permanently a foreclosure sale date under the federal and state law. It's the state law that I'm concerned with. Once I send the letter, they must confirm receiving it within 5 days. By the way, the law is strict. If they confirm receiving it in 9 days, it's a violation. Imagine that. Only the People's Republic of California could have a law so much in my favor. And then, but they don't. They generally have responded within 5 days. They tell you they've received your communication, and then they will respond within 30 to 40 days. They do. Then they deny what you say is true, and then they move instead of cancel the sale date. And what that does is it triggers a new violation. So you have to write a new letter saying, hey, the new sale date has now triggered a new violation.
How soon do you think this will be wrapped up? Tell me this. How soon do you think this?
It's all wrapped up. I'm done. We're done.
Okay.
I'm out. They've paid me to leave significant funds, and I have 2 years to file the lawsuit. I will file it this year.
Okay. Do you own a home, a piece of property current? Or you said you got a place in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Do you have any other houses in America?
No.
You'd rather have the money in the market than in a house. Is that what you're saying?
What do you mean the market?
Like the share market?
I'm not sure what a share market is.
The stock market.
Oh no, I don't invest in the stock market.
What do you invest in?
I don't invest, Archie. I did during COVID, but that was a unique situation.
Where do you hold your money then?
Archie, I've never invested in my life.
What do you do with money then?
Except during COVID.
What do you do with money then? Don't you need to have
I keep my money in either actual cash or in the bank, and no savings accounts, only checking accounts. And one of my accounts, I said last week,
aren't you scared of inflation hurting the value of that money?
I said it earns 4.6%. It earns 4.4%. It's a special Barclays account. It's a savings account.
But aren't you scared of inflation hurting the value of that money?
Pardon me. It's a checking account. No, I don't. No, I'm not an investor. I never have been. I've never, with the exception of during COVID, when I, on a whim, took a chunk of money and bought a bunch of stocks, because I did have a stockholder account that my boss made me set up years and years ago. And as soon as I left that position, I sold all those stocks, Coca-Cola, Tootsie Roll, whatever he made me buy, that he said, you must learn how to live on dividends.
Yes, that's correct.
Whatever. Oh yeah, exactly. I know the philosophy. I said, boss, I live on salary. I live on income, and then I spend it, and then I earn again, and then I spend it, and I have a little savings. Sure. Now I have a lot of savings because I'm independent, and I've closed my business, and I keep all of my money in actual cash or in a checking or savings account.
You're not scared of inflation eating?
It's better.
You know what?
It's better. Wait, listen to this. All of my accounts, I sign the interest waiver on, meaning either on the portal or in the bank itself, I sign a document preventing them from giving me any interest on my money. I have a reason for that, Archie. There's a good reason for that. I won't disclose that publicly. And then I have one single account that I allow to get interest, and it gets massive interest, almost 4.5%. It's a special account with the Barclays Black Card. If you have a Black Card, you're invited to have this account. Yeah.
But you don't have anything in like property. You don't keep money. You're not an investor. You just keep it in cash.
I have a few stocks, but believe me, that's only because they're, I have an account with Schwab, which was TD Waterhouse before it was TD Ameritrade, and I have had those TD.
Aren't you scared of running out of money then?
No. First of all, I have a lifetime salary that increases every year. Being a long career political appointee. I was a constitutional officer in California. I told you there's 14 of those. One was the governor, one was me. And some are appointed, some are elected. I was what was called a tier one. A tier one was pre-1991 hired. So that means I have a guaranteed salary for life. It's not based on any retirement investment I made. It's not based on any retirement investment they made. It's a guaranteed contract to pay me. And that ended in 1991 for California employees who now have to contribute to their retirement, and the state will match it, and then it has some connection to stocks and so forth. It's part of CalPERS. CalPERS is single-handedly the largest pool of private or public funds in the world, anywhere. It's called CalPERS, and it makes people like the Carlyle Group look like petty cash. Nonetheless, my funds are connected to that, and they pay me monthly forever, and that increases. I recently have gotten a new allocation, and so I have money coming in every month, but I also have I've not needed to draw on my savings since I've moved. I know what my budgets are, and I'm living within it. And I've closed my business by choice. And by the way, even when it was open, since I opened it, I've never worked more than 15 hours a week. I took 4-month vacations a year. So I've always been okay due to due to my high level earnings that I've had over the years, and how I've spent my money and put my money into savings and checking. But
how is the Porsche liking not being garaged? Can I ask you that?
It's holding up perfectly. I had it what do you call it, graphited a couple of weeks ago.
Ceramic coated, yes.
No, not ceramic coated, graphited. That's a temporary lighter thing, but I'm going to have it ceramic. I had to cancel the detail man because at the last minute I had something to do, but soon it will be in. It looks beautiful. I'll take a picture of it for you. A new updated picture. It's doing fine.
Okay.
I think I might have one. The day I was had it graphited, I was complaining about the price, and I think I posted it on my Facebook, but I'll find it. I'll send it to you. But yes, it was quite a run. I don't know that, I was a victim of the countrywide mortgage scandal. I received that letter. I think I shouldn't have entered the program to have myself fixed, and I was fixed. And I liked my new updated loan. I paid on it for 1.5 years when I contacted the vice president, Barbara Dower, of Bank of America Home Loan Unit. They have many vice presidents, and she's the Home Loan Unit vice president. And she entered me into the program again to have principal reduction added to my already improved updated loan as a victim of Countrywide. That was what never happened. That loan disappears, and they sell to U.S. Bank the loan that was paid in full, the original Countrywide loan. And then I get that bill, and I go, well, that's not the correct loan. Oh, what a mess. And so that's created an almost a 19-year dispute, 18 plus years, where the bank has agreed to pay my property taxes. I don't pay the mortgage, but it must be my primary residence, which under law definition is 6 months and a day. And it was. And now I'm gone. And I left long before I worked out something, my departure arrangement with them.
Very interesting indeed. So I don't understand, Marcus. It's let me tell you a story. Many years ago, I know this family that had worked in Papua New Guinea, and they made a lot of money because it's sort of, that's the sort of country. It's dangerous. It's a very primitive And they came to Australia and they could afford to buy two homes for cash. And they decided they bought one home and they put the rest of the money into the bank to earn interest. And they lived off the interest. When they bought the homes, this was in the 70s, they paid about $30,000 for the home and they put the other $30,000 in the bank. Today, that home is worth about $1 million. The $30,000 is worth $30,000. Eaten out by inflation. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, Archie, but I'm not concerned with that. And I told you, inflation is at 3%. I'll be earning on one account 4.5 or 4, whatever the hell it was, and that's plenty. I don't need it. I'm not even using my savings. I will spend every penny of it. But let me tell you something that you may or may not know, because I'm not an expert in real estate or investments. But I will tell you this, something I learned in living in the Philippines and being the ambassador from California government to the national government of the Philippines for 5 years. I learned something, that cultures around the world view loans differently and countries handle them differently.
I'll just be one moment. I've got a coffee.
Yes. I'll wait for you, Archie. Well, we can look at some of these comments and see if there's anything good. I was going to explain something to Archie. Archie, are you coming back?
I'm really scared, Marcus. I am scared with you. I am really scared with you.
Let me tell you something. So in America,
yes,
the only people that would now there's exceptions to every rule, but here are the rules, and there's hardly any exceptions to these rules. The only people who would not have a loan on their home and have it paid in full would be very, very poor people. You can look it up. There are very few people in America that don't have a loan, and the people.
What about Dave Ramsey? Do you like Dave Ramsey? Are you a Dave Ramsey fan?
Who's Dave Ramsey? I don't know.
American finance guru who says fully paid off home is the best thing you can have.
He's nuts and he's wrong, and he's probably just saying that to get likes and clicks and attention, because it's nobody. There is no advice that's legitimate for that. I'll tell you why. The home loan deduction that you receive in America is dollar for dollar equivalent. W-2 employees and wealthy people. Let me just give you this example before I say that. Why do you think Donald Trump, there's a good example. Let's use a rich guy. So why do you think Donald Trump takes a loan out on his own apartment condo in New York City and has a payment to pay back? Because the deduction is the best deduction known to mankind. It is dollar for dollar, 100% deductible. So you deduct your interest payments, and that's why, in some cases, in my case, I needed a high interest payment with a high payment. I went to interest-only loans because I was a W-2 employee, and it would just reduce my taxes. If you owe $20,000 a year, $50,000 a year, come up with your number, in interest on your home loan, and you owe $40,000 in taxes, you're going to cut your taxes in half by simply having a home loan. If you're making $100,000 a year and you're paying $40,000 a year in your home loan, your taxes are around $40,000, $30,000. You're going to have no taxes. So the point is, there is no American in their right mind that should not have a home loan except the very poor. Why the very poor? Because they don't have an income that needs a deduction. They're poor. They would be best off to own their own home. But that is a very, very limited category, because even people with minor low income, not poor, low income, need to have a loan on their home. Wealthy people. I have a client, an old client. he made a significant sum of money a year, multi-millions. He could buy that house that he bought for almost $40 million in cash. Why didn't he? He didn't, and he got a $48,000, whatever it was, home loan per month, because he needs the deduction. That's how we roll in America. And the longer the loan, the better. We do 40 years, 30 years, and 40-year loans. There's hardly anyone takes a 15-year loan. There's some exceptions. You're heading into retirement. You want to do some things when your income drops off to zero, certainly. But if you're in your prime, pre-prime, and post-prime career age, you need a home loan. That's why I got one. And now I don't need a home loan, and I will rent.
Yes, you will rent.
Yes. Despite and it would never. That's why you put as little down on a home as you can, and you take that money and you use it for other things. But you have to be mindful of something. Whatever your loan amount is, should be less than 33% of your total monthly wage. I mean, that's kind of many Americans, certainly in California, their rent is 50% or more of their wages monthly. That is an unfortunate situation. I'm sure it's not by choice.
I see what you're saying, Marcus. I don't know what I've just cut a stumbling block there, Marcus. I think it's dangerous. It's dangerous, Marcus.
In the Philippines, when I bought my condo, I went in and I said, I'd like to get a 30-year loan. And I was speaking to the president of one of the largest developers in the country. And I was only in the Philippines at that point for 1 year. And he said, Nobody does a 30-year loan, Marcus. Everyone does 4-year loans, 2-year loans. You know, you might find a bank that would do 7 years, special circumstances, but everyone pays cash, except for the poorer people who can't. And they get these loans, these short-term loans. Nobody does that in the Philippines. And I've learned around the world, that's how things are. You also don't get any tax deductions for having loans in the Philippines. If you were like a Filipino wouldn't get a tax deduction at the level an American does. The point is, other cultures don't think in those terms. Well, I arranged a special arrangement. I arranged a 4-year loan on my condo in the Philippines that would be renewed with a new 4-year loan, and then renewed with a new 4-year loan, and renewed with a 4-year loan. And I think it ended in 2017, so however many years that is from 2004. And that's the way it worked with me. And that loan was deductible for me in California, in federal and state income taxes until 2008, when I was no longer a government official required to go there, at which point I had to absorb, but it was very small because it's the Philippines. I think my payment on that condo in the Philippines, it was under $1,000, whatever it was.
Yes. I understand what you're saying there, Marcus. I'm really worried about you, Marcus. You should, Marcus. You put your money into the bank. Inflation will eat the value of that investments, Marcus.
4.6% interest, and the other accounts I waive interest on. Yes.
Why do you? Okay, fair enough. I understand, Marcus. You should buy something. Otherwise, you could be homeless if you spend all the money. You have nothing left.
I told you, Archie, I have
How many years of money do you have left? Can I ask you that? How many years?
Lifetime income by the government. Social Security will give me a lifetime income. I have massive sums of funds. I don't need to go into.
What does Twinkle D? What does your girlfriend Twinkle think of this?
I don't need to spend a penny of my savings to survive.
Tell me this: what does Twinkle think of your investment strategy?
There's no investment. We don't discuss investment strategies. She is becoming a dentist, and she will likely support me. Not likely.
When are you going to finally tie the knot with Twinkle? When are you going to make an honest woman of her?
She has to finish her contract. She has a 2-year contract, and at my suggestion, she went to Florida to do it because California is terrible. I mean, I told her.
Find someone else while she's there. You're not scared of losing her?
You know, Archie, I have never had a problem like that in any relationship. I've been with many women over the decades, long-term relationships. When you find a woman and a man and you've committed to each other and you're alike and not opposites, that those relationships are to last forever until they don't, you know.
Are you a multi-millionaire, Marcus?
I never disclose my wealth in any particular fashion.
Sufficient. You simply use the word sufficient.
I just told you I don't need to touch my savings ever again in my life. Not $1, not 1 penny at any point in the future, period. I will spend that money irresponsibly on luxury goods, no doubt. But my expenses are covered by my lifetime income.
As long as you're happy, Twink, you know, that's the thing. As long as you are happy. By the way, Marcus, I need to tell you, I am flying. I am leaving.
I'll tell you what makes me unhappy. I can't budget a jet, and I'm certainly not going to buy a shitty Cessna. So, you know, a jet's a little above my pay grade. Sorry to say. And
Marcus, I'm actually flying to Vietnam. Unfortunately, it's not the free holiday that they offered your men in the 70s.
What's that?
I'm going for a holiday to Vietnam.
Who's the man in the
Didn't the US government offer a free trip to Vietnam?
Well, yeah, that was a different trip, and it was before my time. But I think there was a selective service thing I had to fill out. But yeah, no, I would never have been involved in that. I was too young. But yeah, that was a worthy war. The Vietnamese love us.
So I am going there. So I may not be doing. I'm actually, Marcus, I want to ask you some advice from a very. I respect you, Marcus. I really do respect you. Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Do you think I should just take a week or two off just to recalibrate? I feel I'm burnt out in many ways.
You mean separate from this Vietnam trip?
This Vietnam trip is my vacation, yes.
I'm not sure of the question. Are you saying you should stop doing your shows?
Stop doing some shows for a couple of weeks. Do you think that would be detrimental or doesn't matter?
I think it will be detrimental to your flow of income. But I think you have to care about life, Archie. You have to be happy in what you do. I have never done anything I didn't want to do with regard to work. I have never done a job I didn't like. I've never been unhappy at work. I've never really enjoyed work much, but I've done it because it's necessary to make a living. I would much rather be sitting at the beach or at the pool or listening to music or watching a movie. I have never been driven. I have never been a goal-directed person. So I would say to you, if you incorporate my philosophy, you do what makes you happy. But you better make sure that you're as lucky as I was, and that whatever makes you happy, whatever you do to diminish your income, will not be catastrophic. You know, I had a goal. It was the first goal in my life, and I had it last year when I said, I am going to have a goal of earning zero income related to work by January 2025. And I reached that goal in March. Imagine having a goal of zero income, only related to work. All right. Have other incomes, passive incomes, essentially. That's great. But zero income. And I did it. And then I took it. And then I took a client because, you know, somebody was whining to me on the phone, and a previous client said, you have to help him save his life. So I did it. And then I took another small exception, and then I'm wrapping up 3 clients. Okay. But yeah, I achieved that goal, and I intend to never do it again. And when I left government service in 2010, 8, 9, whatever it was, I opened up this consulting group of attorneys, CPAs, and lobbyists, a team where we get people out of trouble, criminal and civil and any administrative actions. We just unwind government agency problems you or your company might have. I only worked 15 hours a week. I only got 6 to 12 clients a year, never more than 12, never less than 6. But they were substantial. They paid maybe $490,000 up front on one afternoon, and as little as $15,000 up front on one afternoon. So I was lucky to be able to charge, exorbitant fees. I told my clients, I have an exorbitant fee. You can get this work done by someone else who won't be as good. The going rate is less money anywhere else, but I do it. It's my fee. Advanced flat fee, I guarantee nothing. And if I do it successfully, I want another fee. So I was very successful in doing this for years. I never advertised. I never had a payroll. I had collaborating professionals that assisted me. And, but the point is, I didn't want to work. I never enjoyed work much. I enjoyed getting off work, taking the paycheck and enjoying it, taking vacations, traveling, buying luxury watches. I have 100 watches. I love my watch collection. You only saw a few of them. I don't know how many I showed you that day, but it had to have been close to 100, right? I think it was more.
I understand what you're saying.
Archie, we had a question that we were going to address today.
Yes, that's correct. Please run it.
So I was going to ask what you thought your biggest regret was. Not regret, pardon me. Let me rephrase that, because it could be confused with regret. Your biggest shortcoming, which is not a regret. Your biggest shortcoming in your personality or your life.
Brutal honesty.
What?
Brutal honesty.
Oh, you think that, okay, you are brutally honest and you think that's a shortcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother said to me, the truth hurts. And it does. And your experience in Thailand, my experience in the Philippines, both as a government representative there and as a private citizen, we now know the value of honesty, and Western cultures have a stronger value of honesty than any Eastern culture would. It's just in their culture to lie. And that goes to not wanting to disappoint people, saying yes when there's a no deserved, that kind of thing. That creates lying. And we don't lie. I think my biggest shortcoming is empathy. I don't have much empathy. Sorry to say. I wish I had more, but I don't. And I think I am brutally honest too. I think I don't have much of a filter. I think I don't think not having a filter has helped me in life. In most instances, it has been neutral, but in many instances, it has been a problem. I don't have a filter. I say what I think, regardless of how it affects consequences. And that goes to being brutally honest too, right? Yes,
correct. Very, very true.
We're very similar, actually, Archie.
Yes, I tend to agree with you. I've got to say this to you. In your case there, you've lived the life. You've had a fantastic life. There's no question of that. You've done some amazing things. You can't be unhappy with what you have achieved in your life. You've done so much.
I regret, I think I've told you, well, now we're getting to regrets. I think I've told you there were 3 paths that I regretted. I regretted not signing that contract with Paramount Studios that included the parking spot for my father to make me a movie star. Yes. That's what they did as kids. They made movie stars. They sign you up and create. That's correct. I didn't sign the contract with the National Federation of Figure Skaters when I was about 11 to train me to go to the Olympics because I was a skilled, gifted skater that could do certain things that the Olympian didn't do, just so you know. She didn't. But nonetheless, I turned that down. And I turned down Richard Lugar, who was a senator when I was back in Washington working on Capitol Hill. He offered to make me a committee staffer. Committee staffers are the prestige of political appointments in Washington, D.C., short of some high-level presidential appointment. But they are well above any routine presidential signatured appointment. Committee staff, depending upon the committee. And you don't get a committee staff position without senior background work experience. I had none, very little. And I was offered this position, and I chose to reject it and head back to California and go to the beach and finish up college and go to Yale.
Do the movie. The
movie was pre-college, Archie. Yeah, I did that stupid movie, because I was doing modeling. I was a professional model for 2 years, did that stupid movie that came along. But I do regret those three things because I think one of those or all of those would have been great. And I do regret not running for Congress when I could have run and won. That is impossible in California right now. So I do regret that one opportunity that came, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, a recent Speaker, accepted my candidacy, and that would have led to receiving all the endorsements. I would have had no trouble with money because I already had that secured. But I didn't do it. I went on vacation for 4 months, came back and saw the guy get elected, and I regret it. And then I saw this incumbent Republican lose. I knew he would because he couldn't raise money, and he was lukewarm, and it was the wrong district for him, and it was a fluke election. But I could have won and stayed in that position, but I didn't, and I regret that. But those are regrets. So many great things have happened in my life, particularly career.
Well, you're on the Archie Luxury channel, for starters. You're on the Archie Luxury channel.
Oh, who would have dreamed a couple of years ago that we would be together on this Archie Luxury moment?
Here we go.
Who would have dreamed?
Black Pat 997, $5. How about this dipshit, Robert Barnes? Who's Robert Barnes?
Well, Black Cat, he is not a dipshit. Okay, so those of you that, okay, Archie, we have to run over. This is an important story. Someone just diminished one of the greatest lawyers of all time on this Black Cat. All right, let's go there. So Robert Barnes was found by me. He was an employee in a law firm in Wisconsin when, years ago in 2011, when I, for a client, needed to expand my team to an unknown lawyer. I had a team of attorneys, CPAs, and lobbyists working on this. In fact, the client paid us to have a private meeting with Joe Biden. The client paid us to have a private meeting with the IRS commissioner. We did that. It was a criminal IRS matter. And we were doing a political, civil, and criminal component. My attorneys on my team were a little wet behind the ears, so I did a national search for the best lawyer I could find. I found him. His name was Robert Barenhoff. He was connected to a firm. It may have been called the Robert Barenhoff firm or something. I got hired on my team. It's called the Marcus Allen Frishman Group, the MAF group, with a client that we were physically present at for 7 months in San Diego, Monday through Thursday. All of us were there on site doing what we needed to do with him. Robert Barenhoff shows up to the Beverly Hills Hotel, rented a cabana at $5,000 a day, and made us drive up to meet him. We were interviewing him, and we hired him. I had 3 conditions for the man. I said, everything's under the MAF group. You work for me. 2, you will meet with the client in his office. You will not stay in your office. You will physically show up. We'll have a car and a driver for you. We'll take care of your hotel room, but you're going to show up at the client's office in San Diego every morning, 10:30 to 4. And third, I'm afraid with the third requirement. Well, yes. And I'm giving you permission to bill it directly. Normally, I don't do that. You'll be included in it, but we had already sealed our contracts up. So I said, just go in and talk with the client. So we worked out a deal. And then we found out that this Robert Barenhoff would never come. He never showed up again. Who did he send? Some guy named Robert Barnes, who sat across from me in a conference room for 7 months every morning together. He and I, the rest of our teams, because he brought someone, I had some other team members, were outside in other offices at the client's location. Robert Barnes and I daily studied this, had lunch and dinner every day for 7 months. And at one point early on, I said to Robert, you got to move to California. You got to get out of that job. They were paying him big 6 figures. And he quit his job. He came to California permanently. He was in a hotel with us all, different rooms in the hotel. And he established his own practice in Los Angeles without ever physically living in Los Angeles for a long time. But that's where the practice was based. And we paid him on that arrangement $100,000 a month, indefinitely. We didn't know it would last 7 months, but it did. That was his salary back then, as one of my team members. And we won this case. It took almost 6 years, by the way, but we worked on it for 7, and then it finited to some final issues that only Robert and I were involved in. And Robert once said, I owe my change of life to you. And he did. He created his own law firm. He's also picture and bioed on my firm's website and brochures, what that's worth. And I closed my firm last year. And he continues to run a private practice. Robert Barnes is a fine lawyer. I'm working with him presently on a case that we're wrapping up now, that we've had for a while. I talked with him yesterday, and I texted him today. Robert Barnes is a great man and a great attorney, and he's become independently well known now. His own YouTube channel is not significant that I recall, but he is a guest on a particular YouTube channel, like I am here with Archie, who interviews him on a regular basis. And he gives prognostications of politics. He's quite wise in politics, and he's certainly wise in the practice of law and has represented significant clients. We have represented clients together. We have represented clients separately that we have sent each other, and we work jointly. He's part of my company, and I am not part of his, and he runs his independent law office. So I don't know what problem you had with Robert Barnes, but he's a great man. And if you have any issues, you should contact me privately, and I'll help you sort it out with him, because he and I are very close.
Very, very interesting.
He's quite famous now. He is quite famous. He wasn't famous prior to me finding him, pulling out of that firm, having him join my firm. He still continued to work with my firm as a collaborating professional. His bio and picture are on my website because I need his credentials to get business. I don't have any credentials, but I get business, and we'd work together. He's quite an advisor to me.
Very interesting indeed there, Marcus. It's
not to be confused with the Robert Barnes, let's say, ambulance chaser lawyer that's based out of Los Angeles. They have different middle names. There is another Robert Barnes around LA, not to be confused with the famous, distinguished Robert K. Barnes that has become famous because of the Marcus Allen Frishman Group.
Another super chat here from Black Cat 997, $5. AC3. There are some very unsavory people in the US on the internet that want to get attention. Yes, that's
all right.
That is it works.
Absolutely true.
Marcus, I gotta say, we gotta wrap this baby up. I'm gonna be taking a week or two off, so we'll have a break for a week or two.
Oh, you really are?
Sorry?
You really are going to take some time off from the show.
Yeah, I do. I need to do it, Marcus.
All right.
But 2 weeks' time, just give me a week or two, and we'll be back. Okay, Marcus? 3 weeks' time, we'll be back.
We'll definitely skip the next show. We'll talk about the following one and definitely return by the 3rd. Fair enough?
Fair enough, Marcus. Thank you, guys. Thank you to our super chatters, Black Cat 997. That's the Marcus Allen Frishman Show, and I'm not.
I'm Marcus Allen.
Later, guys.
And you're not. See you later.
Hi, guys. It's Archie Luxury. Guys, I want to talk to you about David SW. David SW, David SW. Guys, if you are in America, if you are looking for a Rolex watch of your dreams, in fact, if you're looking for a contemporary modern wristwatch, I strongly advise you to look at David SW. Guys, don't play the dealer games. Don't bring in chocolates or Krispy Kremes for your dealer hoping to get a Rolex at retail. It's futile. Please, guys, save your dignity. Keep some pride. Go to David SW. I would highly recommend David SW, David SW. If you're in America and you're looking for a watch, go to David SW, David SW, David SW.